everyone, I'm Julie, and today Frank and I are going to be discussing Winston Chapter 31, Is Proactive Policing Effective? And I think this is a really important and interesting topic because I think you could definitely make an argument that a lot of these methods are controversial, and what we're going to look at is, are they even effective? So I think it'll be helpful just to go through a couple quick definitions. And first is hotspot policing. This is simply when you allocate resources to high crime areas. We're also going to look at predictive policing, where you use methods like regression to predict crime at a time and place, closed circuit TV, stop and frisk, which is when police stop individuals based on reasonable suspicion, and broken windows, which increases the arrests for misdemeanors based on the belief that social disorder causes crime. So our first topic is hotspot policing, and we actually take the methodology from Winston's chapter on evidence-based medicine, where we conduct a randomized controlled trial to find out if the treatment, in this case it's increased police presence in high crime areas, is actually effective. So they took 110 locations and divided them into two subgroups, either treatment or control. And then if you were in the treatment group, you got 2 to 3 times the police present. If you were in the control group, they didn't make any changes. Everything just remained status quo. So after doing this analysis, we saw a reduction in crime in the treatment group of about 6%, and then in the control group of 1%. So you can definitely tell there's a decrease in the averages, but Winston took it a step further to determine, was this actually statistically significant? So he did a two-tailed test and came up with a p-value of 0.005. And since the p-value was less than 0.05, which is typically the threshold, we can definitely conclude that the treatment group did see a statistically significant reduction in crime. And so our next topic is called predictive policing. And this is where a city actually goes and they partner with an external vendor who uses analytics to predict where crimes are likely to occur. They use independent variables like if there's an easy escape route, what the day of the week and time of day is, even moon phase and payday schedule, to name a few. So we found that this wasn't actually effective. There was not enough evidence to show that these tactics work. And a lot of the studies that were conducted were by people who might be in the analytics industry and not necessarily like an impartial scholar. And then the next topic is closed circuit television. So this is where they take closed circuit TV and they add that to high crime areas. And they found that having this closed circuit television did lead to significantly less crime. We used a similar methodology to the hotspot policing, and with a randomized controlled trial, we found that the treatment group had a 40 to 49% reduction in crime and a p-value of less than 10%. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Frank, who's going to discuss stop and frisk and broken windows.
Thank you, Julie. So I'm going to talk about the topic stop and a frisk. SQF, which is the stop, question, and a frisk. In the years 2003 to 2013, New York City police made over 100,000 stops per year. And the SQF has been extremely controversial. In Philadelphia, they did a RCT test with SQF in 60 crime hotspots. And after controlling for other variables, they found a 23% of reducing in crime. So which means the SQF definitely works. However, are Blacks and Hispanics treated unfairly by SQF? A Harvard professor did a research on this matter. He analyzed 5 million NYC SQF data from the year 2003 to 2013. He found 56% of the SQF was involved with Blacks. However, the Blacks are only 25.5% of the total population in New York City. Blacks are involved in 56 divided by 25.5, which is 2.2 times as many stops as their population. Non-Blacks are only involved 0.59 times as many stops as their population. And then professor was talking about the DI, which is disparate impact of SQF. So he did a formula, which is this one. When the number of DI greater than 1, which is means more disparate impact on blacks. He pointed out that blacks are involved in more law violating behavior than whites. And after that, he used a regression model to estimate the DI of SQF on blacks when the percentage of blacks in the population varied based on unlawful behavior. In this model, he considered the population of blacks and white are equal, the number are equal. And then from the result greater than 1, which means the DI is on the blacks. So 1.03, which means 3%. So for in this case, it's the blacks suffer 3% more DI than white. However, surprisingly, the robbery blacks are stopped 45% less than white. So as the conclusion, the blacks are more likely to be arrested after the SQF stop. So the next one is called the broken windows theory. In this theory, seeing if the government reduce the social disorder, then more serious crimes will be greatly reduced. In the year 1993, New York City tried to use this theory. They did experience a very large reduction in crime. For example, the crime decreased by 56% in New York City in the year 1990s compared with 28% in the country. Is proactive policing effective? This is the question from this chapter. I think the answer is yes. The proactive policing is successful in reducing crime and disorder, at least in the short term. But why don't try to use the broken windows theory to why don't just clean the city and build more beautiful things? I think no one wants to wipe their dirty hands on their expensive white suits. I did a little research. The lowest crime rate country, which is Singapore. I went to Google Maps and then I just randomly dropped the yellow man to see the street view. So those are very random photo. I don't know where is here. I just randomly dropped. So this is one of their street view. First, clean, very clean. They have some lovely stuff like those hearts, it's lovely. And also it's very in order. You see the apartment, it's all similar style. It's very beautiful, straight, clean. And also this is another street view, very in order, everything is clean. This is also one of the street view, just very random. The broken window theory definitely works. I think in order to reduce the crime for the long term, they should try to learn from Singapore. At least New York City definitely should try to learn from Singapore to clean the city, especially the subway. Yeah. Thank you for listening.